Has it been that long? Has it been 10 years that the release of one of a video I could have made within 5 minutes get made into a 30-minute feature-length film that came out about 10 years ago to this day? If you don't know what I'm talking about, there was a video I released many years ago called Resistance is Ponies. And this was just my jumbled mind in high school. I just want to kind of give like a little history, kind of a little origin, if you will, on how the video came to be. I need to straighten this out for a bit. This video came out off of the idea of there being a, well, it's hard to say what the theory was, but it was based off of this odd dream I had. This was like maybe 1 week after, well, actually, it might have been like a week before I joined the fandom, I forget when. But it was this odd thing where somebody made a doomsday machine, and in my high school, and then what happened was I was there, and I was there to save the world, and then that's kind of where the dream ended. And I'm just like, you know what? Let's do a video. Let's make this 30-minute feature-length film about how a fictional version of myself became a brony. Because if I were to do it a regular way, like actually fully tell an origin story, it'd be a little bit too much. There are some elements that fall into the original film itself, but again, it was one of those things where it was just like, yeah, this wouldn't make for a good PMV at all. Not a PMV, a good movie at all. But I threw out the whole, like, doomsday machine, and I saved it for another story. An unfinished movie, no less. But pretty much, it's just, that's the entire origin of Resistance as Ponies. How really the PMV, I don't know why I keep calling it PMV. The short film was shot entirely in 2 weeks. This was around the few final weeks of my sophomore year, 2012. It technically was, its high school year was 2011, 2012. But you kind of get the idea. I was at the end of my sophomore year in high school, and I spent 2 weeks filming the movie, spent an entire month editing the video, released it, and the overwhelming view is not really much, except friends who saw it and they were like, good job. But there were many things that are totally goofy with it. I mean, there's some like moments that could have been easily have been edited in. Like if I were to reshoot this, like if I were to remake this movie, like totally I would have like done the screenplay a little bit better. I would have shot it a lot more, fixed a bunch of continuity errors in the final product. Maybe at this point some royalty-free music, because again, like I was using, like, you know, in the movie, if you've actually seen it when it came out at first, the entirety of the music was a mixture between tracks from Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion by Jeremy Soule. Love the music from that game. You could tell because I used it in Reign of the Septums, despite not really playing the game much because of how odd the layout is. I was using scores by David Newman, more specifically the tracks from German film Confers de Tire, otherwise known here in America as Animals United. Then I was using only two times, as far as I can tell, tracks from film scored by James Horner. It was Schwarzenegger movie, Commando. Pretty fun one. I kind of like it. Kind of one of my guilty pleasures. And then the last one was production music. Like the original production music you hear in like Ren and Stimpy or SpongeBob. Well, actually, there were a few more. There was one where trying to think. I definitely know one of the songs ends with an instrumental version of Nightmare Night, one of the fan-made songs. I think that was, again, like, it's been forever since I heard some of the Pony music, but I think that one was done by Living Toaster? Glaze, not Living Toaster because I'm thinking Living Tombstone. That was, yeah, Wooden Toaster with Mike the Microphone. Kind of goes by Glaze. At least Wooden Toaster goes by Glaze nowadays, but really loved him for a lot of his tracks. He was a big hit in the early days of the fandom. But yeah, and then there was one other track I used from Soul Calibur 3, where we meet Zasalamel for the first time in the game. But yeah, that's kind of all of Resistance's Ponies. How it came to be, the music I used. Well, actually, I actually found a way to rope my friends, even my older brother, into making this said movie, and boy, oh boy, does it show. Oh, I almost forgot about Full Metal Jacket. Especially the track where, like, kind of the night scenes or whatever, you see Private Pile and just getting smacked with the soap and whatnot. And the final part of them in boot camp. Yeah, I wasn't sure how I was going to script this thing. I just kind of thought on the spot. It's the 10-year anniversary of Resistance's Ponies. How do I want to discuss it? And I figure this is probably a good way to discuss it. It's old, it's worn out, it's many things. But in terms of a movie, oh my lord. I should have stuck with making into like either like some random video that comes out, like there's like a PMV that was released, or at least an early Pony video that came out. They're just like, oh hey, this guy's went into the MLP fandom. That's awesome. But no, I'm just like over-glorified 30-minute feature-length film. Fun times they were. Fun times. Oh my god. I don't know what else to say about Resistance's Ponies other than it was just, you ever know that feeling in high school, like you watch the video you made, like I'm trying to figure out how to word this. You remember how in high school you make like this certain video and then suddenly you're just like, yeah, this is the greatest thing I've ever made. And then you look at it back years later and you're just like, My God, what did they make this thing? That's Resistance's Ponies. Yeah. Well, actually, it was kind of fun that I actually got to film within my teacher's classroom. It was like fifth period or something. I was trying to aim it to be like a beginning of the school year or something, a beginning of the school day or something. It was going to start off in the library, but ended up being in the opening, being in the cafeteria and all that stuff. But yeah, outside of that, that's pretty much it about this discussion about the 10-year anniversary of one of the oddest, cheesiest, and one of those why did I make this video movie, Resistance's Ponies. I'm afraid that discussing about this movie today, people will go flock to it and then just suddenly just burst it into negative comments. Would you be like that if the same thing would have happened to you? Anyways, that's pretty much it for my long ramble of the release of Resistance's Ponies. I've worked on it for months and it's something, all right. Anyways, see you guys for any videos in the very near future.